what we were talking about last night was the delivery, how, for instance, turf and cabbages and all went into Dublin, and that on these little carts, shabby little carts and shabby little horses and ponies taking the stuff into town, and all they would get for them was maybe a half-crown or up to 5 shillings, and they had maybe come 20 miles nearly to get that. Poverty is the key to all that, of course, you know. And now the times were totally different. Milk, for instance, this was my father's interest because he was veterinary inspector of the dairies and that, and we were into all the small farms all over the hills and everywhere where milk was produced, as far as he could find them out. But I mean, children went around, of course, barefoot, a lot of them, and the local cobblers had plenty of work because all shoes and boots were mended to the last degree. As long as they stuck together, they were important because people just hadn't got the money, and they were passed down from one child to another, that as they grew and all. I had to wear my brother's flat shoes and that, which didn't suit my feet, I can tell you. My father had special shoes made for me, and because he could see that my balance wasn't right, and that even then. And but once that pair of special shoes were worn out, my mother hadn't got the money, and he was gone to get. So Edmund's old shoes I had to wear. Making down of clothes was a thing. There were dressmakers all around the hills and everywhere, and clothes were made. You know, you would see boys, for instance, in trousers of the most extraordinary materials and that, because that was all the people had. They couldn't go into shops and buy things. They were just handed down from one person to another, and little changes made and so on.
The best improvements today?
Electricity and water. Yes, water certainly was a problem all over the place. I can remember when our pump went dry in the summer, having to walk about a quarter of a mile, and my mother and I used to start out with 3 buckets, one between us and one each side, and bring water back to try. And we had a more modern house, and we had a bathroom and a toilet, and which none of the neighbours had. That's another story. The girls used to come in to have a bath the night before they got married and so on. But when the pump went dry in the summer, which it did, they hadn't dug sufficiently far down when they were putting it, and we had to carry the water, and we had a tank for rainwater at the side of the house. A big concrete tank, and we had to fill that with water so as to use the bath and the toilet. That, you know, it's so changed. It's incredible now to have people living as close to. You know, I mean, there was even small houses had bigger space around them, and that. But now, everybody, this was all farmland. There was the farm where the Potchin still is now, Carol's. They bred horses and raced them in the races like Punchestown and so on. And this ground was where the horses were. And think of it now. As we went up and down the road between my father's people in Rathcoole and where we lived at Castle Warden, which was 3 miles, we would see all these lovely young horses in the field. Now we've young people. The bottled milk was slightly dearer than loose milk, and the milkman with the horse and cart used to have measures and that of different sizes, and he would measure out the milk and give it to them. And of course, people were always looking for a little tilly, a little bit left over. That that was a tilly.
I was elected to the council in June of this year, 2009, and I was first-time councillor. My background is that I come from community work in Tallaght, which I've been involved with for the past 30 years, from residents' associations to scout groups, youth clubs, onto Tallaght Community Council, and in 1997 I was one of the first members to go on to the newly formed Tallaght Drugs Task Force, which was brought out by the then Minister with special responsibility for drugs, Pat Rabbit. I've served on the task force for the past, well, it's 1997, the past 12 years, both as a member, as a community representative, and as chair. I was honoured to chair it for 3 years. I suppose in that time, by being a member of that particular committee, it has given me a very broad view of our county town here of Tallaght. And it gave me an overview of all our communities that acknowledge drug problems, acknowledge problems of social exclusion or anti-social behaviour or whatever else, and the simple fact that most people, the vast majority of people, are really just looking to live a normal day-to-day life. And it doesn't matter what background you come from, most people just want peace in their lives. And if you have a problem and there's some group or organisation out there that's willing to help you, part of our job was to just bring all of those groups together and try and develop from there a strategy that will go and meet the needs of the various communities in our wonderful town here. I live in a place called Tymon North. I moved into Tallaght in 1977, and I suppose I'm a very reluctant resident of Tallaght because I was quite happy living down in Inchicore, Ballyfermot from where I came, and thought that coming up to the hills here was just a step too far. I'm very pleased to be probably one of the community leaders now, or seen to be one of the community leaders here in Tallaght. As I said, it is the lead county town here. It's part of my life, it's part of my family's life. My children have grown up and been educated here. We've wonderful schools, we've wonderful facilities. And now to be honoured of having been elected mayor, just having been first elected to the council in June, I was very honoured to be elected mayor and sit in at my very first council meeting with the chains on me, rather than be sitting there as a new councillor just learning what standing orders were all about, or what would consist of an agenda, or what were the right questions to ask. And this particular position, what it means to me, is that it's given me a bird's eye view of the entire county. I now don't just consider Tallaght, as I have spoken about in the first couple of moments here, about Tallaght being the main focus of the county. It's not, because it's much, much wider than that. We're lucky here in South County Dublin. We've a very big population, with over 250,000 people living in the county. And the budget alone for South Dublin County Council is almost 300 million per annum, which is a very, very substantial budget. I'm very pleased to be, I suppose in a sense, the leader, the chair, the mayor of a council that's so innovative. It's complete. It's number one in its field, particularly when it comes to IT. It's wide open to listening to the community. It's accessible, and it has a management team here that's second to none in the entire Dublin region. And I would put it up and say in Ireland that we have this county council has been awarded so many awards. Not only for architecture but for community planning in all aspects, our planning, our community departments. And they are so proactive with the community that I, as a community member, as I said, I'm honoured to be the mayor, because I feel that I've come home, I've come into somewhere that's as welcoming to me as coming home. I was met by a team, all of the department heads here, the county manager, everybody. There's 1,400 employees in South Dublin County Council, and every one of them will bend over backwards to help you. I haven't been refused any information. They are there readily to advise, guide and help. And I figure if they're doing that for me, they're also doing it for you, and we're all part of this together. The role of Mayor of South Dublin County is a very responsible role. It means that the person holding the office is the first citizen of the county. You wear the chain of office at official functions, which can range from presenting green flags to schools, to meeting representatives of other countries that come to visit the council, to chairing all of the official council meetings, being in attendance to represent South Dublin County Council wherever the need may arise. The position holds great respect, and it has to be recognised, as I said, that the role of mayor means that you are the first citizen of the county, and it carries with it a great responsibility. I'm particularly delighted to be mayor, especially this week when we're launching Innovation Dublin. There are over 50 events taking place in the county, ranging from the digital treasure hunt, Simply Brilliant Ideas, our living library, and a range of other activities that will be web-based and person-to-person based. In our living library, I will be one of the books that you will be able to borrow and have a discussion with. And if you want any further detail about Innovation Week, you'll find it on this website.